Going. All right, our Hangout is live. Welcome to the Blogging Bunch Hangout. Today our topic is how to get blogging jobs, how to find blogging jobs. And so that's a big one, and we'll revisit it, not just this 20 minutes. Anyway, I'm Sarah. I blog at Play to Learn with Sarah, which is a family resources blog, and I'm in Austin, so I've got lots of random things going on, and my blogging partners, Elizabeth and Carrie, here.
Yeah, I'm Elizabeth. I blog at rockabyeparents.com, and I blog about parenting, single parenting, Disney, all that good stuff.
And I'm Carrie, and I blog at Carrie L about kids and moms and parents and Dallas and that kind of fun stuff.
All the fun stuff.
All the fun stuff.
So we were just chatting a little bit beforehand to do our kind of prep work, and we were talking about how we were able to get jobs, blogging jobs, which are, as your blog grows, your definition of a blogging job will change. But at the beginning, when you have a new blog, you want to your blogging jobs will be mostly trying to contact companies and smaller vendors to get giveways for your blog, and to find people that are willing to do a giveaway of an ebook or something like that. So, she's got time on. She's noticed I'm on camera.
I love her. She's so cute.
So to start out with, there are things that you want to just start out with, making contacts with different people, and the best way I would say to go about it would be go to Business to Blogger, business2blogger.com. Okay, hold on. And she posts jobs all the time. You can apply. It's free for bloggers to apply, and you get kind of small giveaways, $5, $10 jobs. It's not that big of a deal, but it is a great way to make connections and to start getting reviews and things up on your site to show that you can do it. And then my other suggestion would be Izea she wants a snack, to Izea.com, which I guess it's just now switching over, and I've kind of looked at it a little bit. It was Social Spark, and that's kind of where we got some of our smaller jobs. And but now Izea has like a different setup. So definitely look at Izea, look at Business to Blogger if you're starting out, and those are great ways to get your foot in the door with making connections with brands.
You also might look local. So local and handmade is a good place to start too. So if you have a friend that is selling T-shirts or selling planners, you might ask them, "Can I review your product? Can I share your
nails?"
Handmade nails. You might say, "Can I put this on my blog?" And then you have the experience of writing about a brand or a local shop or something along those lines, and you're learning, and your readers are hopefully experiencing something awesome that you're sharing with them, and you're getting to show other brands, bigger brands, what awesome content you can create for them and how you can show everybody their
yeah. Superfly keeps coming on and it flips back to me.
And you can do a giveaway with that, like Sarah was saying. You do a giveaway with that, and that can help grow your traffic too.
She's gone.
So look local. That's where I was going with that. Look local. Look to your friends. That's a good place to start. You don't have to have a lot of page views. I've done some blogging planner giveaways and reviews for people who have blogs that are small, but maybe they have a relevant audience where they're going to share with their friends. So you never know. So it doesn't hurt to ask and start somewhere.
And Twitter. Make connections on Twitter. Make sure that you're growing your Twitter account. There are also some networks that are bigger networks that we have worked with. Social Fabric, some of those Mom Media, Mom Central, Mom at Forward, some of those, and so we wanted to kind of move into talking about some of those networks also. I personally am pretty bad about keeping up with those networks. There's just so much, and I can't really keep up with all of the networks. So I also I don't enjoy doing sponsored posts, although I enjoy the money. I have a really hard time doing sponsored posts. And whereas Carrie's great at writing them and making them more relevant, I'm just like, yeah, I got this thing, and it's not really interesting. So, and it takes me twice as long as it should take me. So I tend to kind of stay away from some of the sponsored posts and some of the networks, or some of the ones that have like so many requirements. I've done 2, I think, Social Fabric ones, and yeah, the requirements for this and that and this are too difficult. So, Carrie, Elizabeth, what networks do you work with? Let's start with Elizabeth. Carrie's got a whole list. So we'll start with
Clever Girls and
Clever Girls.
Yeah, which we all have done. Obviously, Social Spark. I have one, but it's they were very, can't remember the name of it, although I have one something coming, but they were very limited, so it's not one that people can just join. It was more I was invited to do that one. That was the one with VoiceBox. I don't really do any others. I don't have too many. I don't do Social Fabric, so.
They're hard to keep up with because you got to apply for the jobs, and then like you don't get the job, so then you're like, well, I never get a job on this one, so why am I going to apply?
I do actually. I guess I should say I work with Purex too. I do Purex Insiders if there's one that I like. So I do have some of theirs if there's a really good one. There was one I did. I got paid for an entire year of laundry detergent.
That's awesome.
I don't have to buy laundry detergent probably for like 2-3 years for the amount I got paid.
That's awesome.
Right, for just you and Nick.
And I won an Amazon gift card with it too, so it turned out to be a really good one.
Right, so some of the perks, right, like I was saying, your version of a paying job, it's going to take a lot of page views. They're going to ask about page views. They're going to ask about your social networks, what's your social reach, so make sure that you're growing those. And it's not 100% page views because there are some that have been local or they just like the look of your blog. So making sure that you're connecting with local bloggers and making sure that you've got, Carrie and I just did big updates on our blogs to make them kind of jump into, 2013 at least. So we, but trying to work on your images. I'm taking photography courses so that I can work on my images because Pinterest is a big one. Brands are going to be looking at your whole picture also, and so just your page views is going to work with some brands, or some companies, but your whole entire picture is going to be more important, really, I think, for the majority.
I think it's important to note too that some brands at like specific times are also looking for different types of blogs. There's a lot of mommy blogs out there, so there's times that they'll be like, you know what, it's not a personal thing, we don't need any of those types of bloggers right now. Maybe they need more fashion bloggers. It kind of just depends, and sometimes it's not you, it's just what they need. BlogHer does that a lot when they're looking for their ad networks. A lot of times I've heard they have so many mommy blogs that they usually don't take anymore, so something to keep in mind too.
Right, so don't feel, we'll put together a list when I think I'm still like 4 posts behind on putting up these hangouts. But anyway, we will eventually, once I get around to it, put up a list of the companies that we work with. Plus, Carrie's got, I think Carrie did one a year or so ago, right? That had a list of like 20 places to get blogging jobs. So we'll link to that. Carrie, you want to start talking? Is it on Blogging Bunch? And I'll put it in the event. On the event.
It's on my site.
It's on your site? Okay.
Yeah, it's called How to Find Blogging Jobs. And and there's probably maybe 20 or so different networks that I've listed on that post that you can sign up for, and it will link you right to like the sign up for all of the different brands and networks. So what you want to do, if this is what you want to do, is monetize your blog and write sponsored posts, your best bet is to sign up for all of these because you don't know who's going to hire you. You don't know who you're going to like working with. So I signed up for almost all of them on that list. I don't work with all of them. Some of them I've unsubscribed to newsletters from, or I just stopped working with because I don't like them. They're not a good fit for me. But I didn't know that in the beginning, so I signed up for them all. I found a handful of the networks that I really like to work with and that I work with regularly, and that they pay well. They have good. I'm writing about good stuff that I like to write about. So it's kind of trial and error till you find those ones that work for you. And like Sarah was saying earlier, so you might start off doing these $5 and $10 jobs, right? And it's kind of like this, as you grow, that will change, and it's kind of like working with these networks too. Like I used to do a lot with Social Spark and IZEA, or I used to do more with them, but then it just kind of changes. So I'm not really doing anything with them anymore, and you'll kind of work through the different networks and see what you like and what works for you. But if you want to get these jobs, like Sarah had just mentioned, so you really need to work on your blog design. You need to work on your content. So you want, when you do these practice reviews, or when you're reviewing your friend's product, you want to kind of form those products around a story. So you don't want to just say, look at this meal planner, it's helping me plan my meals. You want to say why you need help planning your meals. You want to say how this helped you plan your meals. You want to show how it made a difference in your life. So you want to have a whole story kind of built into these posts, because that's what brands are really looking for, is they're looking for stories. So they want you to relate to people, and they want to hear your story about this product and how this product is a natural fit for you. And so that's kind of another thing to talk about. When you start getting these jobs, you'll learn probably the hard way. Maybe not all these jobs were good jobs for you. I've done plenty of jobs where afterwards I think, ew, I feel icky. I told Sarah I feel dirty. So if I do a job and I feel dirty after it, then I know I'm not going to do that kind of job. I'm not going to work with this network again. I'm not going to do this product again, and I don't. And so be picky about what you put on your blog and what you're blogging about, but at the same time, you're going to have to kind of figure it out as you go. So don't feel bad if you do some post that you write and then you hate and then you just want it to hide and go away on your blog, Don't feel bad. That happens.
It's hard to find that balance, because I know all three of us have been like, oh my gosh, I got all these sponsored posts, because you go through and you're like, I'm going to apply for everything and see what I get, and then you get like 10 and you're like, oh, well, then it's just sponsored post, sponsored post, sponsored post.
And all do it at the same time, unexpectedly or something.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's difficult too. And then, yeah, you do feel icky sometimes. So just stay true to your blog, stay true to your niche, stay true to yourself and what you want. Your blog is your online representation, your brand. Make sure that you're sticking to your beliefs and your, you're not going to put something up and do follow, no follow links. Make sure that you're doing no follow links. You don't want to be penalized by Google for doing these things, and that's a whole SEO talk, but just make sure they're no follow and you'll be fine. But there are some that you do feel icky and you're like, well, okay, I'll at least take that $50 and put it back into my blog so that I don't feel so icky about it. But yeah.
And when you're trying to kind of figure that out in the beginning too, because sometimes I've done jobs where I'm like, oh, but it pays well, and so that makes me happy. But how I try to kind of base my decision on whether or not I'm going to apply for a job now is I tell myself, first of all, is this something I'm excited about doing? Like, does this actually make me happy, and this is something good for my family or good for me that I want to do? And B, can I tell an authentic story about it? Am I going to have to make something up, or is it like a true story? I got this rug doctor last week, and my floors are dirty. I needed a rug doctor. It's awesome. I have a better life because of it, and I'm happy to share that experience, people, because my floors are dirty. So I have a story I can build around it that's authentic and true and is natural. So kind of try to think of those sort of things when you're applying for jobs.
Yeah, good point. I had one last year, and the dog got in the picture when I was taking a picture of like the spots on the floor, and I was like, the dog, like the thing.
This is why I need this.
And the brand was like, oh, that was great, and it was a total accident. So Carrie's a little more strategic about it, and I just sometimes accidentally hit the right thing, but not. It is hard. The story part is hard, and putting it into how your life and especially if you don't have a lot of time, right? For me, my creativity only kind of comes when I have that time to let it come. it doesn't come on demand. So when I only have, half an hour to blog, then I really just, when I want it, it's not there.
Yeah, and if you get a sponsored post, so let's say you get a new job and you're excited about it, and if you're working with good networks, these good networks that pair you with these jobs, they're going to give you a prompt. They're going to give you some guidance and some talking points. So sometimes that kind of can throttle your creativity a little bit, right? Because they have a certain thing that they want you to say, or certain messages they want you to hammer across. So just sit on it for a few days. Don't feel like you have to sit down and write it right that second, because most of my ideas, I'll kind of think about a post for a few days, and then I'm like, something will maybe naturally happen, or I'll find a way to make the story real. Based on the prompt they gave me. And sometimes you might apply for a job and you think this product is one thing, but then they send you this super random prompt or these talking points that you're like, how in the world am I going to pull this into my story? It is so out there. So give yourself some time to kind of think about it and process it before you sit down to write it. 'Cause like Sarah said, you don't always have it. You don't always have it in you. So don't
continue to send stuff. They send it like every 2 months, and I'm like, oh my God. Don't just, so sometimes you get into these things, and Elizabeth and I have those, and it's like, really?
I feel like I'm writing the same thing at this point.
Yeah.
Every time.
Well, and then my kids, the one that was due in April, my kids stole the thing, and I didn't find it till like last week, and I emailed the lady, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
Did we lose Sarah? we lost her?
She's like frozen down.
Is she gone? I wonder if she's gone. Is there a way to find out if she disappeared?
I don't know, since she set up the hangout.
No.
Okay,
well, I don't know how to.
Someone's trying to tell her she needs to leave now.
I know, right? Sarah has to go to Denver today with her daughter, so I think she's probably, maybe Maddie was like, let's go, Mom. Is there a way that you can add her? Do you know, Elizabeth, if we can? Well, anyway, we can roll with this, and we'll see if Sarah can get back in.
Yeah.
She's probably still in there somewhere, and it's just not working. So there's kind of some best practices for sponsored posts. So you're going to write this awesome post, right? And you want to do a service to your readers, to yourself, and to your brand that you're working with. And so whenever you write something, think about it, first of all, you have to be happy with it, right? Like, it's coming from you. It has to make you happy, or you're going to get that dirty, icky feeling. Secondly, you have to make the brand happy, because they're paying you, and some of these brands will pay you very well, or they'll give you, great product, and so you want to make them happy, because you are doing a job for them. You are hired, they are hiring you. But then you want to make your readers happy. So if you do a lot of sponsored content, and I sometimes do, kind of goes like this, whether or not I'm doing a lot of sponsored stuff, when that happens, I try to make it something that is relevant to my readers. So you might not be interested in the laundry detergent that I'm blogging about, and that's fine. I totally get that, right? But maybe you'll like this laundry room printable that I made to go with it. And then you're, showing the brand that you're driving traffic to that post with something creative. You're not just making it look like an ad. You're giving your readers something in exchange for coming, and in exchange for that, your reader's going to see the laundry detergent that you use, and they can get the printable or whatever. So try to make something in there for your readers, right? I mean, would you agree, Elizabeth? That's kind of the way to keep
and
people.
It can be hard, and Carrie's really good at this. You just come up with some great creative ideas that I just feel like I can't. I'm like Sarah. I mean, I feel like I can do them. I don't know if they bother me as much, but but creativity often goes out the window. Yeah, and you get. Oh, she's gone.
Yeah, her internet died. She just said.
Oh, and but you just do, what you have to do. Usually, once. Sometimes you'll get to the point and you're writing it and going, this really isn't right, but, you've been hired, so yeah, push through it and do what you think is best. And if you do have a lot of sponsored posts, you do want to make it so it doesn't look like everything is a sponsored post, because you're going to annoy your readers and they're not going to come back. But if you can, like the one Sarah was actually talking about, I did a whole post, really had hardly anything to do with the product. It was related, but it drove traffic to my post because it was a bunch of tips about how to buy a toddler a bike, even though the product was a bike lock. And they loved it. They had to show it on their Facebook page, the company did, and stuff. So you do get creative. The more you can be creative, the more they're going to be happy, the more your readers are happy, and you won't feel so icky.
Right. And then it's like, that's a great point. They're going to share your content, right? And some of these brands are big, giant brands, and so they're going to share your content to their readers. And sometimes I have posts where I think, are people really this excited about this? But it's because the brand shared it. So you always want to make your content always, I tell myself to always try to give 110% on everything so that it always comes out looking amazing. And so the other thing, when you're writing these posts, big pictures, right? Always big pictures, always at least 300 words. You owe that to the brand. Always something pinnable that you can pin, and that's usually where you need to get creative. Like, I'm not going to pin a picture of laundry detergent, but I'll pin a printable. Always disclose. So always do your proper disclosures. The FTC has disclosures. Usually, if you're working with a good network, they'll give you a clear disclosure, or they'll give you guidance for the type of disclosure you can use. You'll also need to disclose your social media shares as well. Don't be late. Meet deadlines. You have deadlines, and you need to meet your deadlines so that people will keep hiring you. And then promote your posts. Promote it in a natural way, but promote your posts on social media and finish the job. Don't just write the post and then leave it there. Even though I've done that, there have been posts that I've written where I'm like, this is awful, I'm embarrassed, this is a terrible product, I didn't realize it was so awful, and then I just let it go. Do we get Sarah back?
Hi.
Woohoo! You're back! We were just wrapping up with some kind of best practices for sponsored posts.
Okay, good.
And make sure that you send all your links to the branch. So when you're done, ideally you'll get a submission form that you can send all your links to. But if not, lay it all out. Blog posts, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Google+, wherever you shared it. Put all those links out. Send those, with an invoice if necessary, and one email to the brand to wrap up your job so that it's kind of finalized. And have fun with it. I mean, it's a way to make money. It's awesome when you get paid for some of these, doing things that you like to do.
Yeah. All right, well, I'm back, and now it's time to go. So, okay, I hope that helped a little bit. We're going to keep going. We're kind of doing monetization SEO, so that you can learn along the way, and that's what we've been working on for the last couple weeks. And we probably have enough to keep going with that, although there were a couple of little tutorial things that I wanted to throw in there, too, things that I... Carrie and I, this weekend, it was like, I can't get Amazon links to work. How did you get it? And I was like, you got to do this. Oh, all right. Or, like, I can't get how do I change the size of my menu bar? So there's certain things like that I'd like to add in, just some frequently asked questions. Also, if there's anything that you guys want to know, please tag us in the Blogging Bunch Facebook group, or leave a message on thebloggingBunch.com, and we will try and cover it and answer all your questions. So, thank you for joining us, and we will see you next week.
Bye.